what if you could completely change the trajectory of your entire life, like your career and your mental health, just by pulling up a simple blanket on your bed?
Right, yeah.
Or, I mean, I want you to really think about this for a second. What if the simple, like, seemingly innocent choice between having eggs or toast for breakfast is secretly destroying your productivity for the rest of the workday?
Oh, it absolutely is.
Have you ever wondered why your absolutely flawless, perfectly planned morning routine always seems to just collapse into total chaos by Wednesday afternoon?
It's literally always Wednesday, isn't it?
Every single time.
That is the exact moment where our, grand idealized plans just completely collide with reality, and, well, usually reality wins.
Exactly. And today, you are going to learn the hidden psychology behind our daily habits. We're going to explore how to protect your time like a seasoned professional and, crucially, how to master advanced English expressions so you can describe your day with absolute precision.
Yeah, we have a lot of ground to cover.
We really do. So within the next hour, we are going to dismantle 3 massive myths about productivity, explain 5 complex phrasal verbs, and decode 5 advanced professional idioms.
Right.
That is 13 powerful tools to transform your daily life and your English fluency. 13 tools.
13 incredibly practical tools, yeah. We're bridging that gap between how we behave and, how we communicate.
Yes. So welcome to this English learning deep dive for daily life, real conversation, and easy listening practice. If you are a language learner aiming for B2 to C1 fluency, and you're looking to improve your speaking and listening without feeling like overwhelmed by an avalanche of information, you are exactly in the right place.
We are absolutely thrilled you're joining us for this today.
Today, we're synthesizing some incredible insights. It is believed by top language and productivity experts that the reality of building sustainable daily habits looks wildly different from the polished aesthetic we see on social media.
Oh, totally. The social media version it's fake. It's just a performance, yeah.
Right. So our mission today is to find realistic routines that do not exhaust us, all while deeply expanding our advanced English vocabulary.
Because you really shouldn't have to choose between living a functional, healthy life and, speaking a language beautifully. You can, and honestly should, improve both simultaneously.
I couldn't agree more. But first, before we dive into the heavy neuroscience and all the advanced vocabulary, why do the most successful days often start with something as mundane, as utterly boring as making a bed?
Yeah, it sounds almost aggressively simple, doesn't it? Like something a parent would nag a teenager about.
Right, clean your room.
Exactly. But if we look closely at how the human brain actually processes achievement, that simple physical act is foundational to your entire day.
Okay, but let's unpack this immediately, because right now there is this massive, entirely unrealistic societal expectation about mornings.
Oh, the 4 a.m. club.
Yes. If you look online, you would honestly think everyone is waking up at 4 a.m., immediately running a 10-kilometer marathon, reading like 3 dense philosophical books, meditating on a mountaintop, and then cooking a beautiful 5-course organic breakfast before the sun even rises.
It's exhausting just listening to that.
It is.
Yes, the myth of the perfect morning. It is literally everywhere. And I want to be very clear about this. It is actually a trap that actively ruins routines.
Really? A trap?
Yes. When we set the standard of success that unbelievably high, we are basically setting up a psychological system designed for us to fail.
Let me play devil's advocate for a second, though. Isn't aiming high a good thing? Like, if I aim to read 3 books and only read 1, I still read a book.
Sure, in theory.
But honestly, I look at those 40-year-old AM routines and I just think, is a routine really a routine if it requires a massive 3-hour nap immediately afterward just to recover from it?
Right.
It feels like we're treating a Tuesday morning like an Olympic decathlon instead of, a gentle warm-up for the day.
That is the perfect analogy, honestly. And to answer your question, aiming high is only good if the goal doesn't trigger a massive stress response. An Olympic decathlon is exhausting. It completely depletes your central nervous system. A warm-up, however, prepares your muscles and your mind for performance.
That makes sense.
Top productivity experts believe that every great, sustainable journey begins somewhere incredibly small. So when you wake up and simply make your bed, literally just pulling up the blanket, fixing the pillows, and taking like 3 seconds to look at it, you are achieving a realistic victory.
It's true, but I gotta ask, does looking at a flat blanket actually rewire my brain for the next 8 hours. It seems, a bit exaggerated.
It isn't an exaggeration at all if you understand the neurochemistry involved. When you complete a physical task, no matter how small, your brain releases a tiny pulse of dopamine.
Okay.
And dopamine isn't just the quote-unquote reward chemical, right? It is literally the molecule of motivation. Getting out of bed quickly, opening the heavy curtains, washing your face with cold water.
Oof, the cold water.
I know, but this physical movement signals your nervous system that the sleep cycle is officially over and the waking cycle has begun. A tiny completed task, like making the bed, creates instant, undeniable momentum. You've won the first battle of the day.
But getting to that tiny task involves a massive internal negotiation, doesn't it? I mean, the alarm rings and suddenly there's a high-stakes debate happening inside your head.
The dreaded morning negotiation. We all know it well.
Yeah, your responsible side, your prefrontal cortex is shouting, "Get up, seize the day, we have goals." But your sleepy side, which feels like it's operating purely on primitive survival instincts, is highly persuasive.
Extremely persuasive.
It's just begging, "Please, the blanket is so warm, just 5 more minutes, the emails can wait."
And usually the sleepy side has a very compelling argument. From an evolutionary standpoint, your body wants to conserve energy. That groggy state is actually called sleep inertia.
Sleep inertia.
Right. Your prefrontal cortex, the logical part of your brain, isn't fully online yet. This is why that initial burst of physical movement is so crucial. You have to bypass the negotiation entirely.
Because if you debate, you lose.
Exactly. You cannot debate with sleep inertia. You will lose every time. But for some people, the strategy isn't about jumping out of bed in a frantic frenzy, It is about a deliberate, slower transition.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought that up because, frankly, jumping out of bed sounds terrible to me. And this perfectly introduces our very first piece of advanced vocabulary for our listeners today. You used a phrase earlier in our notes about transitioning slowly.
Yes, let's look at a fantastic, incredibly natural B2 to C1 level phrasal verb. Ease into.
Ease into?
Yeah. To ease into something means to slowly, carefully, and gently start a new activity or a new period of time. You are deliberately not rushing. You are facilitating a gentle transition.
So instead of sprinting out the door with your hair on fire, you might say, instead of rushing, I prefer to sit quietly and ease into the day with a glass of water.
Exactly. It is a highly versatile phrasal verb. You can ease into a new, complex job role. You can ease into a difficult conversation. Or you can ease into your morning routine. It implies a distinct lack of stress and a feeling of control.
I love the nuance of that. It doesn't mean being lazy, right? It means being intentional. Now, if you're aiming for true fluency, passive listening isn't enough. You need to build the physical muscle memory in your mouth. Let's practice speaking right now. I'm going to pause, and wherever you are, unless you're on a crowded train, maybe just whisper it then, I want you to say this sentence out loud. Let's build that confidence. Repeat after me. I like to ease into my morning. Excellent. The more you physically speak the words, the faster they become a natural part of your vocabulary.
Truly, language learning is as much physical training as it is mental processing.
So you've made your bed, you've completely bypassed the negotiation with your sleepy side, and you have gently eased into your day. You are feeling great. But what happens when you open your kitchen cupboard and your brain suddenly just freezes in panic?
This is where the morning routine gets really fascinating and for most people incredibly frustrating. We are transitioning from the physical act of waking up to facing the very first major psychological hurdle of the day.
And it's a hurdle I guarantee most people don't even realize they are facing. They just feel a sudden drop in their mood and energy.
Precisely. It's about how making seemingly meaningless tiny choices drains our mental battery long before actual professional work even begins.
Right.
We have a finite amount of cognitive bandwidth every day.
I want to focus on the sheer danger of checking everything immediately after you open your eyes. We all do it. You grab your smartphone from the nightstand. In the span of like 3 minutes, you check your text messages, your urgent work emails, the unpredictable weather forecast.
The worst thing to check.
Yeah. And then 3 different highly stimulating social media apps and the often depressing global news.
It is a massive, aggressive flood of information before you have even had your breakfast. Let's think about the neuroscience here for a second. Your brain is suddenly forced to process geopolitical events, your boss's passive-aggressive demands, and highly edited pictures of your friend's luxurious vacation, all at exactly the same time.
It's too much.
It is. This triggers cortisol, which is the stress hormone. Your brain enters a state of high alert.
And you haven't even brushed your teeth yet.
Exactly.
And then, after all that stress, you have to choose what to wear. I will admit, sometimes that takes me 15 minutes of just aggressively staring at my closet, waiting for an outfit to magically assemble itself.
Which never happens.
It never happens. And then you walk to the kitchen, and there's another intense internal debate. Do I want eggs, yogurt, fruit, toast? Do I even have time to cook?
Right, and each of these micro choices has a measurable neurological cost. Psychologists refer to this phenomenon as ego depletion. And this brings us perfectly to our first advanced business idiom for today, which directly describes this exact state of mind.
I know exactly which one you mean, and it is essential for corporate English.
Decision fatigue.
Decision fatigue.
Yeah. Decision fatigue is the mental and emotional tiredness caused by making too many choices over a period of time. As I mentioned, your brain only has a certain amount of glucose and energy allocated for decision-making each day. Every single choice, deciding what to answer in a complex email, deciding what shirt matches your trousers, deciding what to eat, deciding what podcast to listen to on your commute, it all uses a fraction of that precious mental energy.
So if I understand this correctly, by the time you actually sit down at your office desk at 9 a.m., do your real work, the work you were actually paid for, your mental battery is already depleted to like 70%.
Yes.
You are literally exhausted from the act of choosing breakfast and reacting to social media.
That is the exact mechanism, yes. You have burned through your premium cognitive resources on low-value tasks, which is why top experts suggest a very specific, almost rigidly boring solution.
Which is?
Planning small things in advance to eliminate the choice entirely, choosing your clothes the night before, or having a highly simplified repeating breakfast menu. By removing the need to choose, the morning feels significantly lighter and faster.
Okay, I hear you about the healthy repeating breakfast. But let's be entirely honest for a second. For a lot of us, a large cup of coffee is emotionally a complete breakfast, even if the physical body strongly disagrees.
Well, your biology definitely disagrees, and your cortisol levels will spike on an empty stomach. But I completely understand the emotional truth of that habit.
Thank you.
The ultimate goal, whether your pre-planned breakfast is coffee, eggs, or oatmeal, is to entirely remove the active choosing process in the morning. Which leads us to our second advanced idiom, a beautiful phrase to describe habits.
Second nature.
Yes. When an action becomes second nature, it means it has been repeated so many times that it becomes completely automatic. You no longer need to exert conscious thought to do it. It is as natural to you as your first nature, like breathing or blinking.
I love how descriptive that is. So in a professional context or just daily life, you could say, preparing my clothes the night before has become second nature. You just do it automatically, saving all that precious mental energy for the next day.
Exactly. It bypasses the decision fatigue trap. Now, earlier we mentioned checking the weather as part of that chaotic morning information flood, right?
Oh yeah, the weather app.
In the professional world, checking the weather isn't just about knowing if you need a coat. It often provides the raw material for one of the most common types of everyday English interactions, which is office small talk.
Yes. Weather small talk is absolutely unavoidable. It is the universal icebreaker. Some people hate it, but it actually serves a huge psychological purpose in the workplace, doesn't it? It builds psychological safety before diving into heavy work topics.
Exactly.
So if you want to sound natural, let's practice real-life conversation right now. I want you to imagine you just checked the morning weather and you bumped into a colleague at the office coffee machine. I'll play the colleague. Ready? Wow, did you see the weather forecast for today? It's supposed to absolutely pour later.
Oh, yeah, I'm so glad I checked before leaving the house. Make sure you have your umbrella.
That is a perfect, natural, native-sounding response. Notice how we didn't just say, yes, it will rain. We added emotion and advice. Now, it is your turn, listener. I want you to practice the rhythm of this specific sentence. Repeat after me. I'm so glad I checked the weather before leaving.
Great job.
Master that phrasing, and you will navigate office small talk smoothly and confidently. And hey, look at the time. We're about 10 minutes into this deep dive.
Wow, time flies.
It does. If you are enjoying this conversation so far and you are finding real value in these advanced vocabulary breakdowns, please take a quick moment to like, share, and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and tells the algorithm that you value high-level learning.
It makes a massive difference for us, and it really helps other dedicated learners find the channel.
And definitely keep listening all the way through because I promised a bonus tip earlier, and there is an amazing one waiting for you at the exact end of this deep dive that will completely change how you handle your keys in the morning.
Oh, that's a good one.
It actually involved the neuroscience of spatial memory.
You definitely do not want to miss the science behind that one. It is fascinating. But before we move on to the next phase of the day, let's introduce another essential phrasal verb closely related to planning and saving mental energy.
Right.
Write down.
Write down. On the surface, it means to physically record information on a piece of paper. It sounds incredibly basic, but it's an absolute B2 essential because native speakers use it constantly instead of saying record or document. For example, you wouldn't say, I record my tasks. You'd say, I usually write down the 3 most important things I need to do.
Exactly. And we shouldn't underestimate the psychological power of this verb. The physical, tactile act of writing something down moves the chaotic, swirling information out of your busy working memory and safely onto a piece of paper.
It gets it out of your head.
Yes, it is an act of cognitive offloading.
Okay, so let's summarize where we are. You've survived the morning without falling victim to decision fatigue. You've made your bed for that dopamine hit. You've eased into your day smoothly. You've put your clothes out the night before, so it's second nature. But how do you survive the middle of the workday when absolutely everyone, your boss, your clients, your colleagues, wants a piece of your time and attention?
This is a critical transition in our daily routine. We have to realize that the decision fatigue we fought against in the morning directly impacts our afternoon. If you exhaust your mental battery early, it drastically weakens your ability to manage complex tasks.
Right.
And perhaps more importantly, your ability to confidently say no during a demanding workday.
Yes, the dreaded midday squeeze. Let's talk about the absolute trap of the endless to-do list. I will confess right now, I am incredibly guilty of this.
Are you?
Oh, absolutely. I will sit down with my coffee and write a list with 15 or maybe even 20 ambitious tasks on it.
And let me guess what happens to that beautifully ambitious list.
Well, I finish maybe 4 things if I'm lucky. Then the remaining 16 tasks just get aggressively rolled over to the next day.
Yep.
And then the next. Until the list looks less like an actionable daily plan and more like a historical document of all my failures. It just sits there on my desk, quietly judging me, making me feel hopelessly behind before I even start my morning.
That is exactly the psychological trap of the endless list. When you look at 20 tasks, your brain basically freezes. It's the paradox of choice.
The paradox of choice.
There are too many starting points, so you don't start at all. Or you start by doing the easiest, most unimportant task just to feel a false sense of progress.
Like organizing my pens.
Exactly. The expert strategy here is ruthless prioritization, choosing only 3 core priorities for the day.
Only 3. Wait, I have to stop you there. That feels almost irresponsible. If I only do 3 things, my boss is going to wonder what I'm doing all day.
It feels counterintuitive, I know, but it isn't irresponsible. The rule of 3 doesn't mean you only do 3 things and then go home.
Okay.
You can absolutely do more than 3 things, but those top 3 items are your non-negotiables. They get your absolute best, most focused cognitive energy. A routine is supposed to make your life simpler and more effective. It should not create a brand new source of crushing pressure.
Okay. I see the distinction. The 3 tasks are the anchor for the day.
Right?
And I think this connects directly to another major trap we fall into, which is the empty calendar illusion.
Oh, yes.
Just because your digital calendar shows a massive, beautiful, empty block from 2:00 p.m. to 5:00 p.m. doesn't mean you need to immediately fill it with 3 new, exhausting meetings or tasks.
Exactly. We have a strange societal fear of empty time. An empty space in a calendar is meant to be a buffer. It is a space for the unexpected crises that always pop up, or simply space to breathe and engage in deep, focused work.
But we panic.
We often panic at the sight of blank space and frantically fill it, which leads us directly to our third advanced business idiom for today.
Overcommit.
Overcommit. This is a powerful word. To overcommit means accepting more tasks, more plans, or more professional responsibilities than you can realistically, physically, or mentally manage.
You might say in a meeting, I tend to overcommit because I do not want to disappoint my team, but then I feel completely trapped and overwhelmed.
You promise too much out of a desire to be helpful, and then you are buried in work, which ultimately hurts the quality of everything you do.
Right.
Okay, but I have to push back here. I really do.
Please do.
It is incredibly easy for us to sit here on a deep dive, safely behind our microphones and preach, oh, just don't overcommit, guard your time, set boundaries.
Sure.
But in the real, highly competitive corporate world, saying a direct no to a demanding boss or a stressed colleague feels terribly uncomfortable and honestly sometimes dangerous for your career. Are we supposed to just be blunt and rude to the people who evaluate our performance? That is such a vital question, and it's the main reason people fail to protect their time. The answer is absolutely not. You don't have to be rude, and you don't have to sacrifice your career.
Right.
You don't actually need to use a blunt, aggressive no. There is a highly effective diplomatic solution that top communicators use.
Please tell us, how does that actually sound in practice? Give me the exact script.
Instead of saying, no, I can't do that, which completely shuts down the conversation, you offer a realistic boundary while remaining collaborative. You can say, I would love to help with this. I can prioritize it tomorrow morning, or I can absolutely take this on, but I will need more time to finish my current priorities first. Which of these tasks would you like me to pause?
Oh, that is absolutely brilliant. You are putting the prioritization back on them.
Exactly.
It provides a realistic, honest answer without pretending you have unlimited magical time. And it still clearly demonstrates that you are a supportive team player.
Precisely. It protects your mental bandwidth while actively maintaining your professional relationships. It is the essence of C1 level professional communication.
Okay, so let's say you've successfully protected your schedule and you've diplomatically negotiated your tasks. But your physical body is absolutely screaming at you from sitting in that exact same ergonomic office chair for 4 straight hours.
Right.
Your lower back hurts, your eyes are dry. What does a real restorative break actually look like?
This is a crucial pivot. We are transitioning from protecting your tasks to protecting your physical biology and mental energy, because avoiding that devastating afternoon crash is essential if you want a smooth, peaceful transition into your evening.
Right. And let's be totally brutally honest about what most of us do when we say we are taking a break. Sitting in the exact same chair, staring at the exact same glowing monitor, but just switching tabs to scroll through social media for 5 minutes instead of looking at a spreadsheet. That is not a real break.
No, it is absolutely not. That is merely a distraction.
Yeah.
And a distraction does not refresh your nervous system. In fact, the fast-paced, highly stimulating nature of social media often keeps your brain in a sympathetic nervous system state, which is the fight-or-flight stress response.
Oh, wow.
The physical toll of this subtle, continuous stress is incredibly real. If you stop and pay attention to your body right now, you might realize you are holding so much tension that your shoulders are almost touching your ears.
I am literally lowering my shoulders and taking a deep breath right now as you say that.
Yeah.
It's crazy how we hold that tension without realizing it.
We all do it. Real restorative breaks require a physical state change. You need to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest state.
And how do we do that?
This means standing up, walking away from the screen, physically refilling your water glass, or stepping outside just to feel the ambient air and let your eyes focus on something distant for 2 minutes.
And what about the famous afternoon slump? That universally despised feeling at 2:30 p.m. where you can barely keep your eyes open and your brain feels like it's made of heavy fog. The immediate instinct for almost everyone is to reach for a second or, let's be real, third massive cup of coffee.
Which is a terrible trap because that late caffeine completely ruins your sleep architecture that night, ensuring you wake up exhausted the next day, starting the vicious cycle all over again.
So what's the alternative?
Instead of that second coffee, neuroscientists recommend taking a brisk short walk and drinking a very large glass of water first. Often what we perceive as the afternoon slump is actually just mild dehydration and stagnant blood flow from sitting, not true metabolic exhaustion.
That is incredibly practical and easy to implement. Drink water before you default to coffee. But let's talk about the very end of the day, the mental transition from work to home. Physically, you close your laptop at 5:0 p.m. But mentally, you are still working for another 2 or 3 hours.
Yes, the mind refuses to clock out. It just keeps racing. You are replaying awkward conversations in your head, suddenly remembering forgotten tasks while you're cooking dinner and stressing about tomorrow's looming deadlines.
I hate that feeling. How do we effectively stop that mental leakage?
We go back to that simple but powerful phrasal verb we learned earlier.
Write down.
Exactly. Yeah. Write down. There is a psychological concept called the Zeigarnik effect.
Right. It is believed by psychologists that we remember uncompleted tasks much better than completed ones.
Exactly. The Zeigarnik effect states that your brain won't let those interrupted tasks go. The solution is physically writing down your unfinished tasks and plotting tomorrow's starting points before you close the laptop.
It's almost like a data download.
Yeah.
You are explicitly, physically telling your brain, look, I have captured this information. It is safe on this notepad. You can stop holding this in active memory now. You don't need to keep me awake at 2:0 a.m. to remember it.
Exactly. You are closing the psychological loop. And once you step away from the desk, there's another huge modern danger.
The smartphone after work.
Yes. You finish a long day of work feeling intellectually tired, and then you sit on the couch staring at a small screen full of fast-paced, loud videos and stressful news.
And you end up going to bed feeling even more exhausted because there is absolutely no real silence in your life. Your brain is still processing heavy emotional data right up until you close your eyes.
Exactly. So we desperately need evening relaxation techniques that do not involve glowing rectangles. Taking a walk around the block just to create physical and mental space between work mode and home mode. Taking 10 minutes to make a cup of herbal tea. Dimming the harsh overhead lights to signal to your brain that it's time to produce melatonin.
Or cooking a simple meal. The sources we reviewed for this deep dive specifically mentioned the brilliance of a one-pan meal.
Oh, yes.
A simple, healthy recipe where you only use one single pan entirely to avoid the psychological dread of doing a massive mountain of dirty dishes later. I absolutely love that concept.
It is a brilliant way to protect your evening peace. It reduces the barrier to cooking and eating well. All of this discussion leads us perfectly to our next advanced business idiom, which is a truly fantastic C1 level vocabulary word.
Decompress.
Decompress. Think of a deep sea diver coming up to the surface. This means to gradually release built-up stress and relax after a busy, intense, or demanding experience.
So it is the exact opposite of compressing, where pressure violently builds up.
Right. It's an active, necessary process. You might say, I always take a short, quiet walk immediately after work to decompress. It's a deliberate action of letting the accumulated pressure out of your system.
And directly connected to the feeling of pressure building up is our next advanced phrasal verb, set in.
Yes, set in. This phrase is used when very often something unpleasant like weather, an emotion, or fatigue begins and gradually becomes deeply noticeable and established.
For example, you could say, by the late evening, the decision fatigue really starts to set in. You feel the headiness slowly taking over your mind.
Exactly. So you deliberately decompress to fight the fatigue and stress that has inevitably set in.
Okay, so let's picture this ideal scenario. You have the perfect, gentle morning. You've successfully avoided decision fatigue by planning ahead. You have a beautifully protected workday with clear boundaries and a relaxing, deeply decompressed evening. It's a wonderful Monday.
A beautiful Monday.
But what happens when Tuesday rolls around, you get a flat tire, your kid gets sick, and real life ruins absolutely everything?
Yes. The inevitable violent collision between the ideal routine and messy reality. Perfection, as we often discover, is incredibly fragile.
That's the core issue, isn't it?
Yeah.
An ideal, perfectly calibrated routine is completely useless if it shatters into a million pieces the absolute moment real life inevitably interrupts. We have to learn psychological flexibility.
We absolutely must. The biggest, most common danger here is what psychologists refer to as the all-or-nothing trap, or black and white thinking.
Okay, I know people who struggle with this. Explain the mechanics of this trap to us.
It goes exactly like this. You decide with massive motivation that you are going to exercise for 45 minutes every single morning at 6 a.m.
Okay, sounds good so far.
You succeed on Sunday, you feel great. You succeed on Monday, you feel like a champion.
Right.
But on Tuesday, your phone dies, your alarm doesn't go off, and you wake up 30 minutes late.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So because you don't have the full 45 minutes available to do the perfect workout, you do 0 minutes. You just sit on the couch feeling guilty.
Yep.
And then on Wednesday, you abandon the routine completely because, well, the streak is broken. You already failed on Tuesday, so what's the point?
Exactly. It's all or nothing. It is a form of cognitive dissonance. Our brains strangely prefer the certainty of complete failure over the uncomfortable reality of partial success. And this is deeply tied to the absurd myth of the official Monday.
The official Monday.
Yes, when a new routine breaks on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, we often think, oh, well, this week is totally ruined. I will just eat junk food and wait until next Monday to start again.
Why do we do that to ourselves? It's so wildly illogical. Like if you drop your phone, you don't smash it with a hammer just because it has a scratch.
That's a great way to put it. We do it because Monday feels like a clean psychological slate. It protects our ego. But the truth is, Returning quickly to a habit is far more important than executing the habit perfectly.
Right.
If you miss your scheduled walk on Tuesday, just walk on Wednesday. Do not wait 5 arbitrary days for a magical Monday that might never come.
And there is a profound, life-changing concept from our sources to combat this perfectionism, which is the idea of creating smaller versions of your habits.
This is an absolute game changer for building resilience.
Yeah.
You need a scalable routine. Let's say your normal, optimal day is exercising for 30 minutes. If you have an incredibly difficult, stressful, exhausting day, the smaller version of that habit is simply stretching on the living room floor for just 5 minutes.
It scales to your energy.
Exactly.
If your normal day is cooking a massive, complex, healthy dinner, your difficult day is just making a simple turkey sandwich or throwing a one-pan meal in the oven, rather than completely giving up and ordering heavy, expensive fast food.
Exactly. If your normal goal is reading a book for 20 minutes before bed, your tired day is just reading 2 paragraphs. The genius of this is that you maintain the identity of someone who reads, someone who cooks, someone who exercises, even when your physical energy is at absolute zero.
You are casting a vote for the type of person you want to be, even if it's a small vote. And I think it's deeply important for us to explicitly validate rest here. If you are truly physically ill or utterly completely exhausted from a life event, rest is the routine you need.
Yes.
A better, more productive life doesn't always mean constantly achieving more and doing more until you literally collapse.
Perfectly stated. Rest is a biological requirement, not a moral failing. And this concept of things going wrong brings us to a crucial piece of advanced vocabulary. Derail.
Derail. This is such a vividly descriptive idiom. I want you to literally think a heavy, fast-moving train coming off the metal train tracks. To derail means to unexpectedly interrupt a plan or prevent a process from continuing successfully.
So, applying it to our routine, if you wake up late on a Tuesday, you can confidently say to yourself, one unusual, messy day does not have to derail my entire routine. You can just pause, breathe, and put the train right back on the tracks on Wednesday.
And very similar to that idiom is the phrasal verb, throw off track.
Yes, to be thrown off track.
Yeah.
You might explain to a colleague, a very difficult surprise meeting threw me off track this morning, but I took a walk and recovered my focus. It means you were temporarily interrupted, jolted, but your plans were not completely destroyed.
And to contrast those ideas of failure, we have a highly advanced formal verb for keep up, which is maintain.
To maintain means to keep a process, state, or routine continuing at the exact same high level. If you foolishly try to work out for 2 exhausting hours a day while working a full-time job, you will eventually realize and say, my routine was simply too demanding to maintain.
Okay, here's an analogy to tie this section together. Progress, in language learning or in life, is never a straight, rigid, perfect line drawn with a ruler.
No, definitely not.
It's much more like a thick rubber band. It inherently needs flexibility. It stretches on difficult, highly stressful days, adapting to the pressure. But because it is flexible, it doesn't have to violently snap.
That is a wonderful, highly accurate way to visualize human resilience. The rubber band maintains its fundamental structural shape, even under extreme, unpredictable pressure.
Now that we know the deep psychology of how to handle the bad days and keep our mental rubber band from snapping, how can we make sure we sound as incredibly smart as our newly optimized routines? It is time to drastically upgrade your English.
This is undeniably one of the most practical and immediate parts of our deep dive today. We have extensively discussed the underlying psychology of routines, and now we must actively refine the language we use to describe them.
This segment will ensure that you, the listener, feel incredibly confident and sophisticated in real-life professional English conversations. Let's do a segment we love to call Say It Better, elevating basic functional English up to highly impressive B2 and C1 fluency.
We are going to take basic, grammatically correct, but simple sentences that you might use every single day and upgrade them to natural, concise, advanced English that native professionals use.
Are you ready? Here's the first basic sentence. I relax after work. It's fine. People will understand you, but it's very much A2 level. Let's upgrade it.
The upgraded, highly natural C1 version is, I give myself some time to decompress after work. It sounds so much more professional, intentional, and native-like.
It really does. Here's the next basic sentence, one we all struggle with. I say yes to too many things.
The upgraded corporate version is, I tend to overcommit. I want you to notice the phrase tend to.
Oh, that's a good one.
Right. Tend to is brilliant because it perfectly describes a habit or something that happens regularly, but it softens the statement. It doesn't mean you do it every single time. It adds incredible nuance and self-awareness to your speech.
I love that. Next basic sentence. I do it automatically now.
The upgraded idiomatic version that shows true mastery is, it has become second nature to me.
Beautiful. Next one. Referring to our bad Tuesday. One bad day ruined my routine.
Upgrade that dramatic statement to a calm, resilient one. One difficult day does not have to derail my entire routine.
And the final basic sentence. My routine is too difficult.
The advanced analytical version is, my routine may be too demanding to maintain. Using the words demanding and maintain instantly elevates your vocabulary and makes you sound highly articulate.
Okay, it is dialogue practice time. As we said earlier, you have to build a muscle memory. It is your turn to speak out loud. I want you to say this upgraded sentence with absolute, unwavering confidence. Take a breath. Say, one difficult day does not have to derail my routine. Test it. I promise you, if you casually drop that sentence into a Monday morning business meeting, people will immediately notice your elevated command of the English language.
It shows real sophistication and emotional intelligence.
Now, I have an audience homework challenge for you. I want you to actively participate in this community right now. Think of one key word and one advanced idiom we explained in depth today. I want you to write the answer in the comment box below, and while you are there, answer this specific question for us. What is one tiny routine that genuinely makes your life better?
We genuinely read these comments, and physically writing it down, as we learned today with our phrasal verb, is a scientifically proven way to lock in the vocabulary you just learned.
Absolutely. So let's pull all this complex psychology and vocabulary together. We have covered a massive amount of ground today on this deep dive.
We truly have. To synthesize the main psychological takeaways, we learned that simple preparation the night before drastically reduces morning decision fatigue, saving your cognitive battery.
Right.
We discovered that leaving intentional, unassigned space in your schedule actively stops you from overcommitting and burning out.
We talked about how small, physical evening habits, like a short walk, help you truly decompress and reset your nervous system, rather than just passively distracting yourself with a stressful phone screen.
And perhaps most importantly, we learned the psychology of the all-or-nothing trap and how having a flexible mindset, utilizing smaller versions of your daily habits, ensures that a bad Tuesday morning doesn't completely derail your entire week.
Yes. Now, I promised you a massive bonus tip at the beginning of the show, and I am so excited to reveal it because it involves how your brain maps the physical world. This is for everyone who runs around their house in an absolute panic at 8 a.m.
Which is a lot of people.
Yes. To completely eliminate the morning stress of losing your keys, you must designate one specific, highly visible bowl or one specific hook right by the front door.
And you must put them there every single day without fail.
Every single day until it becomes completely second nature. Why? Because this actually leverages your brain's spatial memory system, specifically the hippocampus. When you are rushing in the morning, your cortisol spikes. High cortisol literally blocks your hippocampus from recalling where you placed objects.
Wow.
As is believed by many chaotic morning people who finally figured this out, if you don't create an automatic physical home for your keys, your stressed brain might legitimately end up leaving your car keys inside the refrigerator right next to the milk.
It sounds like a joke, but it happens. When severe decision fatigue and morning panic set in, the brain's working memory simply fails. A dedicated key ball isn't just decoration, it is an external hard drive for your brain. It is a tiny physical system that saves massive amounts of morning cognitive energy.
Exactly. It's neurobiology masquerading as interior design. Now, if you made it to the very end of this hour-long deep dive, you need to prove it. Write the phrase, "I am consistent," in the comment box right now. We absolutely love seeing who our most dedicated, hardcore learners are, the ones who listen and study all the way through to the final minute.
It truly is a badge of honor to focus for this long.
Also, please give us your valuable feedback. Which kind of topic do you want us to tackle for the next video? Let us know in the comments. And please do the hype. If you liked this video and found the psychological deep dives helpful, hit that like button right now. It tells the algorithm that you value deep educational content.
And if you want to take your English learning journey even further, we have incredible free resources prepared for you.
Yes. If you want to read amazing, highly detailed articles about advanced English learning, go down into the description box. I provided a specific link there. If you click it and subscribe just once, you will receive premium, free English articles directly in your email inbox every single time we publish. It's completely free. Forever.
Reading those articles is a fantastic, proven way to reinforce the advanced vocabulary we spoke about today.
And if you truly enjoyed this deep dive, there are many, many more English learning videos on my channel. Go check them out and binge watch your favorites this weekend to keep expanding your vocabulary. Surrounding yourself with high-level native language is exactly how you improve.
It is all about consistent, high-quality exposure over time.
Before we go, we want to leave you with a final, lingering thought to chew on as you face the rest of your week.
As you go about your day tomorrow, I want you to look very closely at your habits and ask yourself a difficult question. Is your current stressful daily routine actually serving the person you are right now? Or is it just punishing you for failing to be the perfect person you think society says you should be?